I don't play games anymore. Long story short, I've had minor issues on and off for years. Last October, I got screwed by Specsavers. They gave me a bad prescription, and over the couple months I wore those glasses, I developed terrible issues where looking at screens caused me horrible pain and pressure in my head. 3D games in particular were bad, but pretty much anything messed me up, even causing me to become disoriented and confused. It got so bad, my doctor suspected I was having mini strokes. Ultimately, I went to another optician and discovered my prescription was significantly wrong. Everything was fine for a while, but a couple of months ago, the problems came back. I've seen the optician again, made lifestyle and lighting changes, everything that could possibly help, and I'm still messed up. Now I'm waiting to see an ophthalmologist, but until then, and unless they figure it out, games are out the window, and my screen time is extremely limited. It's not all bad. I've used this as a reason to pick up music again, and you can check out my music channel where I'm sharing what I do if you wish. Link in the description. I'm also walking even more than I did before to fill free time, which is obviously good for me. But I still miss games. I used to play minimum 40 hours a week streaming, plus however much I played purely for pleasure. Now it is literally 0. What about them do I actually miss, though? If you listen to how they're talked about on social media, you'd think I'm missing my digital friends, the characters you become attached to through experiencing the stories they're featured in. Maybe I need a representation top-up, a dose of seeing myself as a hero. Perhaps I just need to immerse myself in fantasy to escape my real life. No, I miss having problems. So much is so easy, so streamlined, which, of course, is what you want most of the time. Real-life issues, generally, you want solved and out of the way. Solved quickly and correctly so you can get back to doing what you want or need to do. Something broke, fire up a search engine and scan through results for what seems to work for people. Doing something new? There's gonna be a foolproof guide on YouTube. A task on the computer. The program or site might recognize what you're trying to do and take over for you. Let's not even get started on AI. Games, though. They're challenges you willingly take on and dedicate time to, instead of trying to get rid of as fast as possible so you can stop. At least, ideally. Many other hobbies, pastimes, or lifestyle choices are challenging too, of course. However, I struggle to think of any other activity better suited to presenting such a wide variety of novel obstacles to activate my monkey neurons than games are. Games are where we can engage with complexity without pressure and from angles we'd never approach in ordinary life. The infinite training chamber of obscure, abstract hypotheticals. You can look up guides, but then, of course, you're not only cheating the game, but yourself. Unironically. Yeah, there are times when you've paid money for a game and are kinda sick of it, so just want to get past a sticking point so you can feel like you're getting your money's worth by seeing everything. You might get frustrated and break in a moment sometimes. Plus, bad or literally broken games exist that might drive you to it. Some games, as well, have a strong community aspect that involves a great deal of information sharing, which is cool too, and less about giving a 1-1 guide on what to do. But still, the ideal, for me, and what I miss, is being posed problems to overcome and solve. Not for the dopamine rush of getting over it, but for what goes on in me while I'm working on it, and what I'm left with afterwards. Right now, games are often discussed as vessels for spreading culture. They can expose you to different viewpoints, different kinds of people, and so on. Guess what? So can going outside, far more authentically. Even when games are somewhat successful in these terms, Their success is a crude mimicry of other media's impact. The parts that make a game, and not a movie or painting or poem, are rarely, if ever, effectively leveraged and fully incorporated into the greater whole. Where's the gameplay? This is a walking simulator. I wanted to play a game, not watch a movie. The problem has been summarized many times as games telling too much instead of showing. That's not quite right. That's still more of a storytelling critique and isn't precise enough. You're still calling for games to do what other media does, just via a different avenue. The true power of video games is not how they can show you things, but that they can make you become. Video games don't simply expose you to experiences. They don't merely invite you to consider ways of feeling or thinking while marching on to their end screen, regardless of your level of engagement. They can force you to become, for real, a person who can think and act in the way needed to solve a problem. And from that can come feeling. Through that, things can be expressed that cannot be elsewhere. Play Rain World. And all this is not to mention the value of competitive gaming for personal growth, which, minus the cardio, can be compared to sport in many ways. So many people are so terribly concerned with video games being elevated to the level of art in society's eyes that they've missed something incredible. Video games don't need elevation. They are the elevator. Video games have elevated toys, and what a toy can be, to a new level. This is the foundation that should be recognized and built upon, instead of pillaging film and literature for references in pursuit of pretentious notions of legitimacy. This is, in fact, how you will get your art, not by stapling books to a skeleton of gameplay. Now, a darker tone for the ending. A warning. I'm sure we're all aware of the evil of mobile gaming's sinister systems of brain chemical exploitation that have seeped into everywhere else as of late. Manipulative tricks to get your money. Boo! Gross! Yuck! Etc. All those games are getting you to become something, too. And they're rightfully recognized as being predatory trash. Strangely, despite being widely derided, when I look at modern gaming and what's called for progress, I see the same thing. Crude, dopamine-releasing tasks attached to messages and imagery they want you to associate with that good feeling. These guys don't just want your money, though. They want your soul. Please, ask yourself, why is it that the perspective of people crying for games to be art aligns so strongly with government agency-funded initiatives to, quote, for instance, from TakeThis.org, identify game design elements that can impact extremist behavior? They have a fantasy of developing a mental weapon, not art, but the hypodermic ideology-delivering needle they pretend games and other media already are. And, unfortunately, any advancements they make or understanding of these systems they gain won't be restricted to just making gaming worse. So, I miss playing them, but on the other hand, maybe it's a blessing in disguise that I don't have to watch so closely what's happening with them anymore. But, as usual, that's just another one of my harmful opinions.